Hi, good evening. It's Sunday. It's Jim from the Mavestar Observatory. Before we begin, big thanks to those few people yesterday that put a bit of support in on PayPal for us. At the end of the day, I'm trying to raise some money so that we can continue with our plans here at the Mavestar Observatory. And later on in this video, I'm going to ask, you guys out there, 28,000 subscribers now, and out of those, probably less than 300 support what we do here. And we don't raise a lot of money, but this time of the year it's even less. So at the end of this video I'm going to ask for a bit of support, and that's it, guys. I'll draw your attention to the links in the description. It's entirely up to you. You know what we're trying to do here, and also we're proactive. We don't just talk about these subjects, we actually build the equipment and put it out in the field, and we want to put more equipment out in the field so we get a better idea of what's going on around us. Now, over the last 12 months, I've had, many propositions, and to go and join small communities in different parts of this world, and set up a little community, move out to wherever that location is around the world, and join that community. And I'm getting to that point in time now where I feel perhaps it's time to make a little bit more of a commitment and get a little bit more serious. And I dare say that some of you have had these thoughts go through your mind as well. I bet, like most of you guys out there, you're like myself. You've got some provisions put aside. You've got probably a bug out bag with medical equipment in there, some surgical instruments, a couple of books for aromatherapy and survival, and different plants that you can live on off the grid. You've got various tools, probably shelters that you can put up, and just something to get you by, which is more than a lot of people have got. You've probably also got some food provisions as well that'll see you through for probably 3 months to 6 months. But I think in general, most people anyhow have enough food provisions to last them in their food cupboard for at least a couple of weeks, which is better than nothing at all. And if you've got a bug out bag, that puts you in a little bit better of a position than the majority of the people around us. But you're probably thinking like me, if we look back on our history, just take for instance, like I always mention, Stalingrad back in the 1940s during the Second World War, where 2,000 people were arrested during that blockade, that had been arrested for cannibalism. 100,000 people were being killed over food rations a month. And if you seriously think that those behaviours of people won't come back in a flash or a blink of an eye, then you're kidding yourself. You have to at some point realise that we are capable of anything when it comes down to we're starving to death. It's either probably you will face, if you're put in that situation, similar circumstances where you will probably consider killing for food. And there are a lot of little communities out there that have got well armed, they're well equipped, they're ready. There's probably 50 people in those communities. They're all armed, they've got plenty of food, perhaps to last them a couple of years, and they're off the beaten track in out in the Ozarks or something like that. But the problem is that when the cities no longer sustain living standards for people, they will quickly leave those cities, and you'll be faced with many people on a daily basis coming by asking for food. And if you're one of these people or communities that have got food, it isn't going to be long before word gets around that you have, and it'll just be a matter of numbers of people overwhelming you at some point for those provisions that you've got. I know that some people think that they can angle tens of thousands of people, and they've got plenty of AR-15s and other assault rifles and whatever provisions they've got to fight off these people. But the inevitability is there is 7 billion people on this planet, and if there is a global catastrophe, there are going to be large numbers of people, as I've described before, as zombies, not in the literal sense, but people behaving in that same manner that will literally do anything to get what you've got. And I've considered this, and I thought, you've got to be somewhere safe. That could be out in the middle of nowhere, but at the end of the day, people are going to be out there as well, because one, they're frightened themselves. They'll be looking for communities to join at that point in time. You've just got to think a little bit more down the road as to what you'll be faced, I think. One of the recent things that came to my attention was this opportunity of joining a small group, going in, with making up around about $500,000 to purchase one of these missile silos. I don't have the funds to do that, but I could see that there are plenty of these things up for sale now, and they come with a little bit of land on the top of the surface, and these could easily be adapted into long-term living quarters for a small community of people. You could use the actual missile silo for hydroponics, growing food. You'd be self-contained, you'd be out of the way, no one would probably even know you were there, and you could probably live in this missile silo discreetly for many of years. And if you could get away there for the first couple of months, you'd already be probably better off than 90% on the surface of the thingy. The other thing is you would have an amount of protection from gamma radiation. You would also have an amount of protection from muons, although depending on where they decay, the pion, it depends on how much of the earth it will penetrate, but it's certainly enough above the ground to block out a lot of gamma radiation, a lot of muon radiation, and other forms of radiation as well. So it would be a perfect place to be during a magnetic reversal, where the magnetosphere collapses, and you've got plenty of protection, plenty of food, plenty of water, and plenty of security. But if a large amount of people did find your facility, you would be probably trapped, and you could imagine them finding where your air vents are and trying to burn you out of these places. It could be really horrible ending if that was to be the case. I'd come up with a few different ideas with regards to this. I mean, you could just be out there with your bug out bag. It doesn't cost a lot of money, and a small bit of provisions, and you and your family. But you are going to run into people that are probably going to take those things off you in a small amount of time. It will be a case of the have-nots, and there will be more without things than there are with things. And if you've even got fire strikers, cigarettes, small amount of food, those are the things that are going to be taken off you straight away. And get down to the nitty-gritty, where people will take coats, shoes, things off you, and just they'll kill you for anything, really. And if you think that this is just pipe dreams, it's not. This is proven. People will behave like that in these given times. I had come up with an idea of getting together with a small community and buying a yacht, sailing yacht, simply because you can rely on the wind power. You could have probably a water distillation equipment on there, where you can convert seawater into drinking water. So you've got your water, you've got the ability to move without applying fuel. So you've got your sails, which will drive you around the world if that's where you want to be. And you've also got ample source of food in the sea, especially if you're a good snorkeler or a diver, and you've got a spear gun. You can easily catch plenty of food on a daily basis on your travels. And if you've got some small storage space, you can fill it up with foods that don't take up a lot of room, like rice, pastas, things like that. Just good staples that'll see you through for months. And you might find that your little community expands, so you might have 10 or 15 boats in a little flotilla, and you can be moving around in your community. Let me just show you something. So this was the sort of thing I was thinking about. This is a Bravera 46 Cruiser. I think it's a 2007. I'm not 100% sure, but it's around 60,000 euros. And you know, if you couldn't afford that on your own, you could probably afford to go in with a few other people. But I think it's 8 berth, probably 14 meters length, and you know, plenty of storage on this boat. You know, you could use one of the rooms, have another 2 couples if you wanted to go in shares with other people on it. It has got the facility, I think, of 2 of these marine engines. And I'll just quickly go through the photos. There's the layout of the boat. So yeah, it looks like a 6 berth. So there's 3 double cabins, 1 at the front, 2 at the back. But you know, this is a sort of vehicle that will take you, you know, all around the ocean. More than capable of, you know, crossing the Atlantic in this, or any ocean, as long as you've got the skills, and that is an important thing. But the thing is, you know, at the moment, you know, there's probably time to learn how to navigate one of these vessels. But the problem is, probably like for most of you guys, is have you got, you know, the facility, you know, the funds to buy it? But what I was thinking is, okay, so it might not be needed yet, and therefore you could probably get some holidays out of it for now. You know, some use out of it. You might be able to hire it out to get some of the money back that you've outlaid on it. I don't imagine something like this depreciating in value soon. And the other thing is, I would imagine that this boat could last probably another 20 years. But the nice thing about this idea, I think, if you've got 6 or 7 other people with boats like this, I mean, you might have the funds to just buy it outright for you and your family, or you might need to, you know, split it between a few of you and, you know, all club together and get yourselves one. But the nice thing about this is we haven't got the restriction of borders. You know, with these, as soon as you're off, if it's like the UK, as soon as you're off 6 miles off the coast, you're in international waters, and you know, you're pretty much left alone by, you know, any government, so you can travel where you want. And you know, so long as you follow the rules when you do approach other countries, you know, with regards to immigration and things like that, you know, you won't have a problem. You'll be able to move about freely. And if you're in large numbers, then small numbers of pirates aren't going to be, you know, attempting to, you know, attack you. And if they do, and everyone on board the boat and everyone that has the boats in this little flotilla would have the means to, you know, fight back. And I don't think any small pirate vessel would attack, you know, 8 or so boats all firing back at it, to be fair. Just putting these ideas out there. But you know, guys, I think if you're like me, you know, you're probably thinking now more long term, and you know, if you've got the ability or the funds to do it, then you know, this could double up as something like a hobby, or you know, it could turn into some holidays for you. It could be some like new life skills for you. You know, it could be something that you can enjoy now, and you know, even at a later date, you don't need it. You could probably sell it on after you've had some fun, and probably not lose a lot of money in doing that. It's I think you know, I just think you stand less chance if you're on the ocean than you do on land, with, you know, millions of other people in a crisis that are all looking for the same. Like I said, this boat can provide food, fresh drinking water, energy to power your devices, because a lot of these boats are already geared up to power solar panels. You can run the diesel engine for a bit to charge up your batteries, and therefore, you know, you can charge up all your equipment. They come with radios, so you've got communication as well. And even if satellites went down, you know, you've still got good charts, and if you've got some old-fashioned navigation skills, you know, it's not going to stop you getting from A to B. You know, just putting that out there, guys. You know, there are probably different ideas that you've got, and I'd be interested in hearing what those are. but you know, this is certainly something that I've thought long and hard about, and you know, if I had the funds, I'd probably be looking at probably investing in something like this myself. You know, I'd be interested though on what your ideas are. If you want to put them down in the comment, you know, I'd be really interested in that. So guys, I'm going to leave it here. It's Sunday. You know, I wish you a great evening, and you know, I am trying to raise some money for our observatory, so if you want to make a donation, the PayPal link's down there, and if you want to join Patreon, you know, the link's there as well. So you know, I'll say what I usually do. I'll catch up with you in the week, hopefully. We've had some data come from China which we're going to process and put that up on the website. There's also some new data that came from Australia. Richard on the Gold Coast sent us the other day. That's already up on the website. So if you want to know what's going on down there with the magnetometer, go and have a look on the website. And yeah, the links are there, guys. You know, I just hope that a few more people appreciate what we're trying to do here in answering some of those questions for you guys. You know. Okay, I'll leave you to it, guys. I'll say what I usually do. Bye for now.